Okay, first we want to install our network policy server. So we'll go into Server Manager and we will want to add a role. So click on this, that's how I roll. And we want to add a new role. And let's see, there is a wizard for you to read. And it's asking us which roles we want. I believe we want network policy and access server. We've got to be careful not to install other things that we do not want. So there's some information here for you to read. Go ahead and hit next. And we do want the network policy server. Let's see, what else do we need? And I believe we do need this without these. Nope. Okay, so let's try this with just the network policy server. Okay, go through, click install. Should install. Okay, we get it installation successful. So let's see if we can go into our network policy server. So we can just click here, expand this. Okay, and we want to look at our Radius clients, and this is where we are going to add each of our new clients over here. So branch server 2 with an IP address of 192.168.1.4. Let's see. We want to use this secret, the shared secret here, J51. So I'll copy and paste it. We want to enable Radius, and we want to make sure this is Radius standard. So that looks good. Okay, and let's do the same thing for the other two servers. Hit OK. And again, we'll do this quickly. New. RA server 2 192.168.2.1.12, sorry. Go through here, type in our shared secret, and make sure this is Radius. We could verify these, so you hit verify, it brings in the IP address, you hit resolve, the address comes down here, you're good to go. If you type them in correctly, you should also be good to go. And we'll do the third client, so new, and we call this guy RA server 3 and 192.168.1.13. Same pre-shared key or shared secret. Check our advanced Radius standard, good to go. Okay, so now we've got our Radius clients in here, and the next thing we need to do is we're going to create two network policies. So we're in Radius and we want to create policies. So where do you think we go? Pretty easy, policies. So let's expand this node over here, policies, and it looks like we're creating network policies. So they've already got a folder for us for network policies. So we're just going to right click, say new. The first policy is called sales, so let's go through and give that policy a name. And we want this to use the remote access server, right? Okay, so hit next. We need to add the sales user group, so hit add, select user group. Let's see what we have in here. We'll come back to this in just a moment. So we'll add a user group, and the group that we want to add is sales. So I should be able to type the name, click check names. If it validates, it'll have the underline. So do that. Okay, that's the only group we want to add to this policy. We can go to next. It tells us we want to grant access if conditions met, and then it also says regardless of Active Directory. So that means we want to override whatever Active Directory may be telling them through using this policy called the Sales Remote Access Policy or whatever. So we go through, hit next, and for authentication, accept only smart card or other certificate. Be sure to disallow other authentications. So let's first disallow other authentications. So we've done that part. Now we need to select smart card or other certificate. Read through the list, you'll notice, hey, that's not there. But look, we've got this button, add, and look at one of our choices, first one. So we want to allow only smart cards or other certificates. So hit OK. That adds that in there, and we can hit next. There are no other constraints that we need to add to this particular policy. Alright, so we can hit finish or next. Now we can hit next again. Yeah, and we can finish. Okay, now we're going to do a new network policy. This one will be a little more involved, and this is for our Windows development group. So we're calling this one development. And again, we're going to do this for our RAS server, remote access server. And we need to do two things. We need Windows group development group, NAS port type async. I think this is where some people are having some problems. So first we'll do the Windows group, add groups, and we want to call it development. Let's see if that will find it. Nope. Development. Come on. Okay, checks out. So we got that. Now we want to add, also, you see this other condition that's asking us is NAS port type. So we want to actually go in here, NAS port type, add, and we only want to allow this one, the asynchronous modem. Make sure nothing else is checked. Looks good. Do you see anything? I don't. So we'll hit OK. So we've configured the conditions. So we have our Windows group development, and the port type is asynchronous modem. Okay, so next we need to configure the permissions to use Active Directory. User count. So we want to still grant access because that is what we're doing somewhere up here at the top. Where is it at? Configure to allow members. Right? But we do not want to override Active Directory, so we will not check that checkbox. Okay, and then we only want to accept MS Chat version 2, so clear that. There's nothing up here in EAP. And then we also do want to allow users to change their password, so we'll leave this checkbox here. So hit next, and we want to configure some day and time restrictions. So we enable this, edit, and I like to do a deny for everything to begin with. Then I'll find the time that I want, so I'm looking for 7 a.m. So that's 6 to 7, so right here will be 7 to 8. I'll do this for each of these times. So I went from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I need to add these other 2 hours on. So select these, also permit, And now to double check our work, because as a constraint we want to do 7 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. See over in the bottom right corner. So what we can do is we can just highlight the entire block, the entire array, and it will tell us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and that's exactly what we're looking for. And so we can hit OK, and we shouldn't have to do anything here with NAS port type. This can be tricky. Let's see. I'm going to leave it alone, and this could be tricky. I'm going to leave it alone though. It's tempting to click this async modem because we do see it in here, but it's not a constraint, so it's a group. So hit next. We shouldn't have anything else. Let's make sure that none of these have anything. Okay, didn't ask us to change anything there. So here it gives us an overview of the policy. So finished. By default we've created these policies. They go to the top of the stack because they are enabled, and so both say grant access, and this will be third and this will be fourth in processing. So we should be done. So let's submit this and see how this goes. So it looks like I cut the majority of it, but there were some sections that I left out. So the ignore Active Directory user account settings for the sales policy, where I had the checkbox, we should not have checked that box, and then vice versa for the developmental. So everything in the video should work other than where I checked the checkbox for the sales network policy, do not check it, and where I did not check it for the developmental network policy, that is where you should check the box. So very close. Sorry it's not perfect, but that'll give you some room to actually learn and synthesize the material rather than just copy it straight from the video. I hope that you're able to take this type of feedback that you get at the end and make those adjustments and make the learning connection that I'd like you to make, and that the lab sim is designed for you to do so. So thank you for taking time to view this tutorial, and if you'd like to go back and redo lab 2.5.4, I would recommend doing it very soon because I will be grading them most likely very soon. So thank you, and have a good evening or day or whatever it might be. Thanks, Professor Yerby. Bye.